So you're bringing it back in. So you don't get pulled into, this is how life is. Oh my God, it's so unbalanced. It has to be balanced every day. It might be the balance of a week. It might be the balance of a month. But looking at what is most important to you individually, right? Some people, it's totally different, right? The involvement in different areas. Looking at for you individually, what little pieces are most important and how can you make sure they are within your life? Like I said, it might not be every day, but can it be for the week? Can it be for the month? What does that look like?
This is the Energy Within podcast, all about accessing, nurturing, and building your energy and confidence so you can design your life the way you want. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki practitioner, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this episode is with Samantha Kellgren, who is a health and mindset coach. And we had a super fun, super awesome conversation all about finding balance, avoiding burnouts, mindset shifts that you need to make, as well as a little bit of talk about the truth about what it means to be positive. Because there's so much out there, so many perspectives out there around what positivity and being optimistic really looks like. And we both agree that there's really only one way to look at what it means to be positive. And you may have heard the phrase that we end up talking about at the end, but I'll save that for later. I really hope you enjoy this episode and that you get these helpful tidbits out of it. If you do, please go ahead and share it. Do that screenshot or screen flow and tag me, tag Amanda, and let us know what you liked. Well, Samantha, I'm so excited to have you here on the podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so glad we could connect. This was really exciting. Just when I saw the name of the podcast, I was like, okay, this is for me.
It's a perfect match, I think. So why don't you start by telling everyone who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So my name's Samantha. I am a health and mindset coach, which I always say that there's a zillion ways you could take that. But my specialty is I mainly work with ambitious type A women and save them from burnout. So
Nice.
There's all these things they want to do, and they're very anxious about getting them all done. Which can be great. There's some great things that come along with being type A and a planner. But the thing is, they often feel guilty for not doing enough, for not pushing hard enough, for taking a break. I mean, I had a new client and she was like, I realized I don't remember the last time I did something fun for myself. And that's not a way to live. So I really help them kind of overcome that to make sure they are getting done what is important to them, that they want to get done. So that hustle feels good, but they are also able to turn it off.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I understand what type A is, but then people have told me that I'm type A and I'm like, I'm not sure. So would you be able to list off what some of the characteristics are of a type A?
Oh, we always want, and it's funny because people are like, oh, am I type A? I'm like, let's go through your actions. And it is, we like a plan. We thrive on a schedule. We need everything to be dictate. Like I love an agenda. Tell me exactly what's going to happen and when. Let me work that into my week. I live and die by my calendar. The thing is, which it proves helpful in very many reasons. Mm-hmm. However, when there's a wrench thrown in, they get completely thrown off. So it is, oh my God, it is not going according to my schedule. This cannot be. Let me regroup. And they have trouble doing that because it feels like a failure. So it is really like planning on steroids. We like a plan, but we like things done in the way that we expect them to get done. And as we know, life doesn't always agree with that.
Okay. By that description, I don't think I am a type A because I do like structure. I like having a schedule. I like a written schedule versus one online or on my phone. But I'm okay with a little go with the flow. So I don't know, is it possible to have pieces of both or just?
It's possible. And I think I am really helping women find pieces of both.
Okay.
That is not, I see a lot of all or nothing thinking. It is all or nothing, right? It is, I was going to do an hour workout. I don't have that time. Well, forget it. Mm-hmm. Or this isn't good enough. I have to make up for this instead of, hey, I got 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
On to the next.
Okay.
To find that and not feel like, well, I have to make up for that. I planned for an hour.
Right.
Those kind of thoughts are where we get kind of tripped up.
So I've heard people say in recent years, okay, let me back up. Ages ago, when I first started listening to, reading about personal development, all that stuff, I remember coming across people talking about finding balance between your work life, your home life, all the different aspects of your life. And then in more recent years, I've heard people start to say balance is a lie. Like that's just not how it works. So what are your thoughts on balance?
Yeah. Oh, that's a really good one. And I feel like it is like reframing now what balance is. Balance is different for everyone. And I think that to have a balanced life, it's more individual. What is balance to you? If you are, let's say, an entrepreneur and you are launching a product, your life will look out of balance at that point because you are spending a lot of time launching your product. However, if you know that this ebbs and flows, then you've got time for, okay, I'm going to set myself up with what am I going to miss during that time? Family time. Okay, we are going to plan our family trip or just be more involved with my family the week before this launch. And immediately after, I'm going to plan something fun to do with them. So you're bringing it back in. So you don't get pulled into this is how life is. Oh my God, it's so unbalanced. It has to be balanced every day. It might be the balance of a week. It might be the balance of a month. But looking at what is most important to you individually, right? Some people, it's totally different, right?
Yeah.
The involvement in different areas. Looking at for you individually, what little pieces are most important and how can you make sure they are within your life? Like I said, it might not be every day, but can it be for the week? Can it be for the month? What does that look like? So I see it's true in kind of both ways. I think that the balance that, like you said previously, there has to be this balance. It's not going to be this perfect balance that we think of when we hear the word balance. It's not going to be, oh, I work for this many hours, then I'm home for this many hours. And no, it kind of ebbs and flows. But to create balance is to looking at what's most important to me. Am I getting all those things in a way that feels good? And that is your balance. And for some people, that might be, oh my God, I'm pouring everything into my work right now. This feels great. This feels like balance right now. Great. If you're not one of those people, and maybe you have a newborn, right? That is not a normal life. That is taking more of your attention, but it's going to shift back.
Oh, you make me think of all the people who are like, oh, maternity leave, it must be so restful. It's like, no.
Oh my God, get out of here. Right? Exactly.
Like, I'm not getting any sleep. I'm taking care of a little person who can do absolutely nothing for themselves. Like,
and you're looking at it from that standpoint though. Like, I mean, when I have one and looking into it, was like, okay, there's going to be an unknown amount of time, but let's give me at least 3 months where I'm not going to plan for any balance. It is going to be all him and learning my new routine, learning what that is going to feel out of balance, but it's because this is what balance looks like at this point. Right. And knowing that it's going to come back.
So I imagine if people are coming to you to find some help getting this balance and relieving burnout, that they already know it's kind of an issue. Is there still, do you find people having a little bit of resistance to changing things or settling into that ebb and flow a little bit? Like what kind of work do we do to get past that?
The biggest fear that comes up is, and I'll use the term letting myself go. And that is not just body. I feel like immediately we go to like physically letting ourselves go. But okay, well, what if I miss deadlines? What if I'm not pushing hard enough? We have this fear of if I'm not constantly pushing myself, if I'm not constantly, filling every minute that I can with work or something heavy, air quotes, productive, then I'm going to fall behind. And that's the biggest fear. And so what I really help them do is look at, okay, what are you afraid of? What does that look like? If you say you're afraid of falling behind, what would that look like for you? Does that mean not getting ahead in a job? Does that mean maybe the physical part of it? Looking at that fear and then thinking realistically what's most likely to happen. So we kind of go through these worksheets of, okay, what's the worst case scenario? What do we actually think is going to happen? Because the fear always is so much bigger in our heads. And then I always take them back to, okay, what are you doing? Where I'm not asking you to pull back or give up the things that are working well and that you do enjoy, what we're going to do is trim what doesn't matter to you, but you're doing because you think you should be doing it. It's all those shoulds.
Yeah.
Because once you pull back there, I kind of use, I don't run marathons anymore, but as a run coach and ran marathons, is the idea of those rest days. We're looking to be able to pull back when you can. So when it is called upon you, that you do have late nights, that you do have a newborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you're able to give that your all and it doesn't feel so draining because you have replenished yourself. So it's not pushing. We can't push constantly. And we think we can. That's chronic stress. That's where major health issues and anxiety come from. But if we're able to pull back in some areas, the areas that are most important, where we really do want to give 110%, we're easily able to do that without crashing.
Mm-hmm. You make me think of, I always put things in the physical and exercise world because I'm also a group exercise instructor and a personal trainer. And there was someone I was talking to at the gym once who's there every single day. And I haven't seen him in a while. So, and it may just be because of my schedule having changed, but I don't know if he's still doing this. He might still be. He was there every single day, lifting weights every day. Now I think he was doing like the body split, but I'm still not a huge fan of that necessarily. Like, especially when
resting.
We get to the point of not resting at all. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think he took a rest day and he had injured himself. And
obviously
he finally came back and he was like, yeah, and I'm trying to get back into it, blah, blah, blah. I'm here every day. I'm here for this long. And I'm like, why? Because I got goals. Like, okay, you still need to have rest days though. And
yes.
But it's those people sometimes, if they don't know, if they can't see through that, no matter if someone's telling them that, it's not going to wake them up. It's kind of like okay, yeah, thanks. Okay, yeah, I'll think about it.
And they do have to experience, and that's why I try to reach women before they hit that burnout, whether it's physical or mental or both, of look, before you reach that point where you feel like, I'm completely overwhelmed. I'm irritable. I'm yelling at my kids. I'm irritable with my husband. I don't have time to see my friends. I don't have time to do self-care. Like, self-care is such a loaded word. But they don't, and self-care just being time to do what you want to do. It could be just like sitting on the couch and watching a show, like whatever.
Right.
Or time to do the work that you want to do. Mm-hmm. And quit the busy work. It could be that form of self-care. Oh, this is the project I'm most excited working on, but I don't have time to get to it because I got to do all this other stuff. Well, like you said, why are you doing that? I have goals. Okay, but what is your goal? That really helped me with my business of what is my goal? Where am I connecting with people the most? Well, it's doing podcasts. Okay, so reaching out to podcasts I would like to be on is a priority for me. And if I don't get a blog post written that week, that's fine because this takes precedence. And it's easy for me to see that. If I didn't go through that, it would be, oh my God, but where am I going to get this blog post? And now I don't have time to do the one thing I want to do in the evening is watch a show with my husband. That's our only time to connect, but I got to write this blog post. Instead, I can say no, because taking that time to connect with my husband is going to be much more enjoyable. So the next day, I'm a day behind, but I'm going to get it written because I'm going to be refreshed and replenished.
Yeah. I want to hit on the idea of busy work versus being productive, because I know I fall into that trap a lot of where I feel like I got to be doing something. Like, I'm not necessarily, like, I can rest. I can sleep and rest like no other. I have no problem doing that. But then if something pops in my head or I feel like, oh crap, I got to get this done, then I'll start dabbling in things and like keeping myself busy but not really being productive. So you have had that kind of day where like you were busy all day long but you don't feel like you got anything done.
What did you do? Yeah. It is. I think that I had just tell a quick story. I had I have a morning hour that I work before my son gets up. Like, I get up early. That's my quiet time in the house when no one's awake is my favorite. Makes it very easy to get up when I have that time.
I'm waiting for that time to come back. My oldest sleeps all the way through the night and has for a long time. My youngest keeps psyching me out. He'll sleep through the night for a couple days. And then he'll wake up a bunch of times or wake up too early. Or it's like he knows when I set my alarm for.
Yeah.
Like, I'm up too, Mommy.
No.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I just sympathize because I'm looking forward to having that time again.
Right.
So
I think that he was maybe a year and a half or so. when that became a reality.
Yeah.
When I knew when I could get him, or he would lay happily until I got him. But the night before, I'm looking at, okay, what do I want to do in that time chunk? I mean, I do yoga, I'll pour coffee, I do a little meditation. But what I want to do in that chunk to work. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do tomorrow? What's the most important? And I couldn't figure it out. Like, what's the most important thing for me to do? I don't know exactly what I should be doing. And my husband was like, if you spend that 45 minutes figuring out what's most important, then that's productive. You don't have to produce something. That can be to streamline, okay, what's most important for my business right now?
Okay.
It can just be a strategy time. And it was like, okay, like look more at the outcome of how do you want to feel when you're done with that? Because you don't feel great when you just get all busy work done. But, when it's, oh my God, I made that doctor appointment that I've been pushing off for a month. And I did all these little things that actually do relieve me, then that's worth it. It doesn't have to be, oh, this needs to be, he's in school, I should be working. He's in school. What if it's that you want to get done the stuff outside that you haven't had time to do and you look forward to doing? Then that's the most productive. I think instead of looking at productivity of from a capitalist standpoint of hustle culture too, right? Of what did you produce? What did you do? What did you accomplish? Well, how did you feel? Like, do both of them. So what do you want to get done? But how do you want to feel when you get that done? How do you want to feel doing them? Because sometimes I was going to write a blog post during this time. I am feeling totally uninspired. I'm totally fried from, a toddler tantrum, getting him to school this morning or something. I don't feel like I'm going to produce that well right now. It's going to take me twice as long. And I recognize that. Well, what else can I do? Here's 2 or 3 other things that feel much better, much more comfortable to do. I'm going to start on those and not feel like, well, I said blog post and I didn't do it. I failed. It's no, you felt good and put the energy into what you wanted to put it into.
I like the focus on what you want to feel. I like that there's been this shift that I've noticed from, what do you want your life to look like? How much money do you want to make? What do you want your hours during the day to be? To how do you want to feel? Like, when you reach where you want to be in your life, how do you want to feel? And then you design from there. Like, I think logic and reason have their place for sure. But if you get to your goal and you don't feel the way you thought you were going to feel, well, then what was the point? And now you got to start all over because you're not feeling how you thought you were going to feel.
And that's what it is. And it sounds woo-woo to say enjoy the journey. So I want to put it in more technical terms, but when you have that goal and you're focused on how do I want to feel as I'm reaching this goal, it helps a lot. Because if you're like, how do I want to feel when I'm hitting this goal? Okay, I want to enjoy, this is like an exciting new thing I'm learning or a new goal that I've never hit before. How do I want to feel during it? Well, I don't want to be sacrificing my sleep. I want to be excited to work on this. If you're not waking every day excited, if that's your plan to work on whatever it is you're working towards, you don't look forward to it, then why is that your goal in the first place? Is there another way to get to it, or do you need to readjust the goal? And I think it's looking at different ways to define what winning is, what reaching that goal means. Different ways to define, okay, there's not just one way to measure success. Like you said, how much money do you want to make? It's like, oh my God, what a boring
I always hated answering that question because I realized set your sights high, but then I'd say a number that felt realistic to me and then get the response back sometimes of like, aim higher. You can do more than that. God. And then I'm like, how much higher am I? Like, I've never made the number of money that I just threw out there. That would be amazing to me right now. And then maybe down the road,
that would make you feel good. Oh, it's so true. And I think so.
Plus, I don't know what it takes. Like certain things that I would be doing. Like, I don't know what it takes to make that amount of money in a month doing this. I haven't done it yet. I don't know.
And you also want to be with your young kids. Yeah. It's like that goal is different for someone who does not have children.
Right. Yeah.
That is a different goal for them. They have more time. But, same thing, I see all these business coaches and it's how many clients do you want to have? How much money do you want to make? And so it was very focused on, okay, well, I should, have a monetary goal and how many clients do I want to have? And then it gets frustrating because then you're focused on, and I didn't like that feeling. Did they sign or not? I don't like that feeling. Obviously that's the end goal. I want to work with people that want to work with me. I want to find them. However, when I switch the goal to, okay, what is my message? I'm going to get that to as many women and help as many women as possible. That's my goal right now, on the way to making more clients and to signing more clients. I get thank you cards from women that are in my Facebook group that they haven't signed, and that's fine, because they wrote thank you for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, that's better than that paycheck, or it should be equal.
Right.
Because that was my goal. If my goal was signing clients in the end is to help them, well, I'm helping people. So it doesn't mean, well, forget the client goal, forget the monetary goal. I got to live too. I need to make money. But it means also seeing, because otherwise, if you're only focused on sign, well, she wrote me this, but she didn't sign. No. Oh my God. It's on my desk. It is.
Yeah.
This reminder of the work I'm putting out there is worthwhile and helpful, even if they can't sign with me right now. I don't know their situation. Maybe they're not ready financially or just like emotionally. It's a lot to put into coaching to hire a coach. You have to, it's not just a program I'm going to hand you and you're going to fly through it. Like, it's intensive work. You got to be ready for that. So not everyone's ready for that, but if I'm reaching them at some level, then I see that as a success. And I see that as a way that I'm thriving in my business.
Yeah. That's where I've been lately too, is where I feel like I'm finally like really on my path. And I'm knowing that even by the fact that, like, again, it's not like I'm doing 1 million Reiki sessions a week, but I see it starting to grow. And then I have people messaging me who haven't even done Reiki with me yet, but they were part of a live video in my Facebook group and they got some major transformation or clarity or something out of just that. And they're messaging me and they're asking me for guidance or just saying thank you. I'm screenshotting all of those. And that's what I like about, I have a coach that I've worked with the last couple of months, and she has a little bit of that focus, like, okay, how much do you want to make? What would that look like? What would your budget look like? Just to kind of open up your eyes to those possibilities of what that would actually look like. But then also celebrate those little wins, that little bit of momentum. Did you make $100 extra in your business this month? Great. That's amazing. Celebrate that,
Yes. Oh my God. Because that's how you enjoy it, when you can actually celebrate. And it's not like, I think people here celebrate the little wins and it's like, what am I supposed to do? It's like, acknowledge it.
Right.
Just sit back and acknowledge it. And instead, at the end of the day, instead of thinking, oh, that person didn't sign, or, oh, I wish I was booking more calls, or, oh, I should be making more by now, to say, I got a thank you note. Someone wrote me a message. Someone liked my video. Like, I'm reaching people, and can I focus on that for a minute? Yeah. And that's what's going to propel you forward. Otherwise, you're never going to be satisfied, because you're always just going to hit that next goal. Well, I hit my goal. Okay, what's the next one? Oh my God. Like, that's not a way to live. We should, yes, be hitting those goals, but you have to acknowledge what you've done. Yeah. And the best way to do that, I think, is to look at, okay, where was I 6 months ago? Where was I a year ago? Have I grown in any ways? Either emotionally, physically, like, what changes have occurred for the better? Maybe you're not where you thought you would be, but are you farther along? Are you progressing? Great. You're not going backwards? Great. Like, that's enough.
You made me think. I've never been in a job that's had this requirement, but I always hated that idea of, like, okay, great, awesome, you hit your goal. Okay, we're going to increase it now. Like, you don't even have time to celebrate the win, and now you got to aim higher. Like, I just figured out how to get to this one. Can I just stay at this one for a little while and then
enjoy it, get comfortable with that, and then when you're ready, move on. It's true, and it's just, I just think that we don't feel good if we're pushing, but we don't acknowledge when it's time to pull back a little bit and to enjoy it, even if it's just a day, but not to just immediately jump into and then we hit the point of, well, I hit that goal easily, which is amazing. But the women, at least that I work with, they hit a goal easily. It was easier than they thought. Well, I should have set a higher goal. Oh, this was too easy. And it's like, oh my God, it was easy. That's great. Enjoy that it was easy. Right. Now let's move on. But don't beat yourself up because you thought you should have been working harder.
Obviously, we've been touching on this as we've been talking, but to get more specific about it, all of this and making this transition from being the rigid type A to allowing that balance and flow to come in your life involves some mindset shifts. So what is kind of the first thing that you think women should tackle when they need to make that shift from always being go, go, go to pulling back a little bit?
God. And I say, this is why I love one-on-one coaching, because everyone's in such a different place and has their number one kind of saboteur.
Sure.
But I think that comparison is up there. I think that comparison, whether it's to your friends or just people online or just an article that you read of, oh, here's a way to do something that could be better. I should be doing that. To tackle those first. Okay, why is that better? Is that better for me? And really getting to know themselves better. It sounds so boring. Get to know yourself better. But we really forget that step. We read something that is here's a great way, perfect morning routine. Okay, this should be my morning routine. Well, this person who wrote that article doesn't know who you are or your life. So does that even
and they don't have kids and
right. But we take that as, oh, well, if this is the be all end all, I should be doing that, without taking a step back to think, do I want to meditate? Is that something, do I like yoga? If I don't like yoga, but I'd like to try it, great, try it. But if you don't like yoga, you've tried it, you like other things instead, don't feel like you have to do yoga.
Right.
And to take that it relieves a lot of pressure, and it just allows you to fly by different articles or posts and say, that's great that they are doing that, but that's not the way I want to do it. And it really helps shift that, instead of I should to, do I want to? So start asking yourself more. Every time you notice yourself say, I should, think, do I even want to? And you're going to weed out a lot of things just with that question.
I think that's a good way of looking at it, because I know there's a lot of people out there who have that mindset of like, well, the top people say they do this, so I should be doing that too. So I'm going to put this in, but then they dread it. And then you waste time dreading it before you actually do it. And then that time could have been used for all that time, the time dreading it and the time doing it could have been used for something that you lights you up more, or could have helped propel you forward, or just helped you take that self-care. There are better things that you could be doing with your time.
It is. And we see, with self-care, it's like, oh, people like doing that. I should be doing that for self-care. It's like self-care could be cleaning your fridge. Self-care could be like just calling your friend and ranting about what you're upset about. Like that is self-care.
Right.
Instead of all the things that we see. And I think that we miss a big point.
So my other question with that then would be, if we're looking at things and saying, okay, that doesn't work for me, I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to. How do these same type A's, how do we find the balance there between the stuff that we think we should do and we don't actually have to do, and then the things that we do actually have to do that we don't want to do?
That we don't want to do, right. It's making I love lists, and so do my people. Making lists of the priorities and the values. So it's what's top priority, what actually has to get done. Because then you can look at your day and say, what actually has to get done today? Like what is either due tomorrow, or I owe this to somebody or something. So you can put that into your schedule, and then you've got that buffer room. So in the buffer room, what do I want to fill that with? So you've blocked out that time. This at least works for me. I'm blocking out that time of, this is what has to get done today, whether I want to or not. And you're determining that by, what is it? Career? Is it family? I have to go to the grocery.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Like I have to do that. And even if I don't want to, I'm going to also put in a time that is best for me. So it's not 7 p.m. on a Monday where I'm like, this is the last time I'm going to go. When would I like to go? Like, can you work it around that way? The things that you have to do, put them in that make sense for you when you are at your best, so you can work with the flow of your day. I think that's another thing. Instead of looking at someone else's schedule, this is how, so-and-so schedules their day. Well, especially with kids, like the flow of the day might look different.
Yeah.
So looking at what's the flow of
there
my day.
There might not be any flow to the day.
There might not be. And looking at when is your energy. My creative energy is more in the morning. I'm not going to do creative stuff past 4. Like, unless I have to, right? So I'm going to save that. Hey, if I'm going to do a blog post, if I'm going to, write copy, captions for my Instagram, I'm going to do that like before noon. like especially early morning. I'm best at my creative time then. So then it doesn't feel as draining.
Yeah.
Because if I know my creative energy is best at that time, I'm not going to schedule the stuff that I need to do at a time that I know I'm going to feel drained already.
Yeah.
So looking at your energy, some people are better in the evenings. My husband looks fine at night. He's not a morning person. So he's not going to get up at 7 and do something creative, where I'm like, I'm on my computer at 6 a.m. and I'm like easily writing a blog post. 8 p.m. I'm like, you're going, he like has hockey. He's like, yeah, the game is at 8:30 tonight. I'm like, I'm in bed by 9:30. Like that sounds awful to me, but he's really looking forward to it. So determining those things and then looking before you even agree to something. I think that's a big thing we overlook. Before you agree to whether it's a work project, whether it's, I do lots of podcasts. And if I'm asked to schedule one, I'm going to look at my day and think, how would I feel Friday at 2? That's an availability. Am I going to want to do that? I know how I feel Fridays at 2. That I'm looking forward to that. I will schedule it then. How do I feel Mondays at 8 p.m.? I'm not going to want to do that. So I'm not going to schedule it then. So taking control of your schedule as best you can, make it work for you. Setting boundaries is, it's such a big topic, but just briefly, before you agree to anything, think, is this something I want to do in the first place? So look at those priorities that you've set out. Look at your values. Does this fall into one of those? No? Then no, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. And you don't need to give a big excuse. They will find someone else. They will think it's okay. So to be true to that, hey, does this fit one of these? Oh, Saturdays, we like to have, the three of us have family time. I'm probably not going to agree to something on a Saturday because that's a priority for me. And I've blocked that out, but it makes it really easy. Instead of going, oh, should I? Oh, I should. Let me take this on. No, it's, let me get back to you.
Yep.
Think about it. Look at my priorities. That's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Is there another time? Usually there's another time for someone else, but we're afraid to ask for it.
Right. I really you're reminding me of some of the things that it's almost unconscious for me now that I have in place to have some of those little boundaries. Like I learned a while ago that if someone asks you for something or asks you to do something, that an appropriate response would be something to the effect of, thank you for thinking of me. Can I get back to you?
Oh my God. It's so easy to do.
Yeah.
And no one is offended and it doesn't feel awful. Yes.
Right. And then also learning that, like you said, you don't have to give an excuse. Just, I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah. Yes. And
that's all anybody needs.
Because a lot of us feel like we have to. I mean, I had a client, she was like, oh, I feel like I have to take shifts from work because, if I don't have a conflict, I should take it. And it's like, your conflict can be you don't want to.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate conflict. You don't want to do that right now. And that's okay. And you don't have to make that excuse. I think of the reverse of, okay, if someone else can't take my shift, do I hate them? Do I think they're selfish and awful? No, I'm going to ask somebody else. And is my shift to begin with? So maybe I have to work it. We are so hard on ourselves and in a way that we are not with other people. If they did the exact same thing, we would not think twice. If they say, no, they can't do something and don't offer an excuse or a reason, we're not like, God, I wonder what they're doing. We're just like, okay, cool.
And if someone does ask you why, you can say it's none of your business.
Right. Exactly. Oh my God. It's so true.
I'm going to give away one of my secrets right now that I probably shouldn't, but another sneaky little thing I've done is I've turned off my read receipts for my text messages.
Oh, yes.
So
yeah, definitely do that.
It'll show that it got delivered, but I can say that I didn't see your text until I'm ready to answer.
Yes.
Because then people think, if you don't say anything back right away, people start, things go through their mind like, oh, are they ignoring me? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And it could just be like, I don't have enough time to craft an appropriate response to you right now, so I need to wait. Yeah. Or I kind of want to say no, but I got to gather up the courage.
Right. Well, and realizing that stories that you're, that's on them. Whatever story they're coming up with, that's their deal. And that has nothing to do with you or what you should say. And I do like saying, and I've definitely changed this in my responses, instead of saying, oh, so sorry it's gotten bad, unless it's like, oh my God, I actually did forget.
Yeah.
So, so sorry it's taken me so long to get back to you, to say, thanks for being patient with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it just reframes of like you being at fault, I mean like, oh, thank you, instead of I'm so sorry. So just like a little reframe there goes a long way.
Yeah. The last thing I want to touch on quick is one of your talking points that you listed was the truth about positivity. And I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that.
Yes. Oh, well, if you haven't heard the term toxic positivity, is like my new favorite term. But it is this idea that we should be, thankful and grateful for every single thing that happens. And if you can't find that positive, silver lining, you're not trying hard enough, you're doing it wrong, you're negative, and it's this negative connotation that what you're working for is not going to come to fruition because you're not positive enough.
Mm-hmm.
And it puts a lot of pressure on us. And as women, we really take that personally of, oh, I probably didn't get that job. Oh, I probably didn't. I know I work with some women trying to get pregnant. Oh, I'm not pregnant because I'm not thinking positively enough.
Yeah.
And then they feel it's their fault that, well, if I was just more positive, these bad things wouldn't happen. And that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say, to have a positive mindset means in general, being able to see the positive. And that means something bad is going to happen, and you are more than welcome to take your time thinking, this is crap. I'm not happy with this. I wish this didn't happen. And when you feel that subside, it might be 5 minutes, it might be a day, whatever. When you feel that subside, okay, what am I going to do next? What's the positive that I can take from this?
Yeah.
Being able to find it. But it doesn't mean, I got leaving the house this morning was a challenge, and we left a few minutes late, and then I stopped at 2 lights. I like just barely missed. And it was frustrating. I was like, oh my God, come on. And it wasn't like, oh, thankfully I hit this red light so I can, It wasn't that. It was, oh my God, come on. And then I get through it and think, all right, we're safe. We're just gonna be a few minutes late. Let's go.
Yeah.
That is a positive mindset. It is not, oh, thankfully let me find it in me to be thankful that I hit this red light and I'm running late.
Right.
Instead, it's being able to be frustrated, but pull yourself out of it so you're not dwelling.
Yeah.
We don't want to dwell in it.
Yeah.
You don't want to sit and ruminate, but you want to acknowledge, I'm not happy with this. I wish it was differently. What can I do to make it different next time?
Right.
What could I do differently? So that's what having a positive mindset and positive attitude is not just that everything is rainbows and sunshine all the time.
You don't have to flip everything to see the silver lining.
Right. Take a minute to be upset. And you're right, that is fine. Bad things do happen. Frustrations do happen. But when you're ready, are you able to pull yourself out?
Yeah. That's always been one of my big messages, is making sure that you allow yourself to experience all of the emotions that you have, but then how quickly can you turn that around? And that word quickly is variable because everybody's different. How much time do you need for this particular emotion right now? Take that time, but don't stay there forever.
Don't stay in it.
Yeah.
It's getting stuck in it. Yeah, totally.
Well, this has been really awesome. It's been a lot of fun. And I think we've gotten a lot of really helpful tips from this one. So thank you.
Yes.
Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you and how they can connect with you?
Yeah. So my website is simplywellcoaching.com. On there, you're going to see it's a little pop-up. I do really recommend you grab it. It is one of my favorite resources. It's a Get Grounded cheat sheet. And it is 21 really quick exercises you can do to bring instant joy. So something small that you can do it every day in a row. You can pick and choose. But it's really helping you get in touch with who you are and what is important to you in very tangible ways. On Instagram, I'm at Simply Well Coaching. So if you're listening, DM me, say, hey, I love connecting with women in this way. And then on Facebook, it's Simply Well Coaching. I do have a Facebook group right now. It's called Aligned Action Collective. However, I think I'm going to change the name to something more direct.
Okay.
So I will the link will be the same.
Okay.
But if you don't find the name, don't worry. I may have changed it by then. And yeah, just say hey and let me know what tidbits you liked most.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have all the links in the show notes, so no worries there. Thank you so much for being here. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks so much. It was really enjoyed it.
That was a perfect conversation with Samantha. I'm really glad to have brought her on. And I hope that you were able to find those helpful tidbits in this particular episode, especially if you are someone who is type A or you have elements of the type A and you feel like, again, maybe you're running into that burnout, you're a little bit out of alignment with what you want your life to look like and feel like, emphasis on the feel part. And I hope that you're able to start going into those mindset shifts and changing things to make them, to design your life the way you want it, like I say in the beginning. So please go reach out to Samantha, check out her website and her Facebook group, that freebie that she mentioned. And if you feel like she might be the coach for you, please reach out to her. Go ahead and send her those DMs. And if you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to share it. I encourage you to post it to your social media, do a screenshot, screen flow, tag me, tag Samantha. Let us know what you liked. Let us know what was helpful. And let me know what you need more of. You can do that by sending me a message or by hopping into my Facebook group, The Energy Within. In that group, we talk about all things mindset, positivity, energy, confidence. I do group Reiki sessions in there as often as I'm able to, as well as live card pulls. And there will be more regarding fitness and the physical energy end of things coming soon in the group. But if the physical energy is something that you need help with, I encourage you to hop into my virtual fitness studio. You can check out the link in the show notes and check out all of your options for how you can participate, whether it's a monthly membership, which starts out with a free trial, or just doing a drop-in for $6, or going ahead and doing one of the recorded classes for only $6. I also encourage you to do a Reiki session with me. I'm still doing virtual mini sessions for only $25. For the fact that it is a mini session, we're just zoning in on one or two areas that might be calling out or the things that are most on your mind and dealing with those. And I include a card pull with those as well. And women have been getting so much clarity, transformation, answers, comfort, and release from doing these sessions. So if that's something that you are in need of, it can help you with this finding alignments, getting rid of burnouts, and figuring out what you need to do to move forward. I'd love to see you for one or both of those options. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you, as always, for listening, and I'll see you next week.